Hey folks, this is Jeff from Dead Drift Consulting. I received a new product in the mail today and I wanted to kind of show it off a little bit and maybe go over some of the features. I've been using the Alaska Guide Creations binocular pack for probably 3 or 4 years now. I tried different brands. I tried the Kuiu one, and although it's, many of them have specific advantages that are unique to each Bino pack, but when it came down to it, this is the one that did it for me and checked the most boxes. So this is the original one that I started using. This is the Kodiak Cub version. It's slightly smaller. It's not as small as the smallest they make, but it seemed to be a really good compromise. It uses a bungee cord system here that grabs this little metal hook. And then of course the binos sit inside here. This lid completely covers the top of the binocular, or the ocular end of the binocular when it's in there, which was an important feature for me. And then I also like the fact that this tether system, the latch, you can change the tension on it because it just uses a bungee cord or some elastic cord here to change the tension depending upon how tightly you want this covered. Alaska Guide Creations, I think, recommends this size pack for up to a 10 by 42 binocular, which is what I use. Different models of binoculars will fit differently in the pack, which is exactly why I went to the next one up. Just today was when I received it. This is the Alaska Classic. Now this is the model that has what I think they call the max pocket down here on the bottom. Okay, it's a zippered pouch that runs along the bottom side of the pack, in addition to the front zippered pouch, just like the Kodiak Cub, and the 2 side pouches here that are zippered, one on either side, just like the Kodiak Cub also. Now, seeing as how this pack is slightly larger, these side pouches are also considerably larger than what you find on the Kodiak Cub. It uses the same bungee tension system with a steel hook, and then the binoculars sit inside. The top of the pack, just like the Kodiak Cub, has these 2 elastic bands here, which I've found handy to keep a pair of reading glasses because my eyes suck. Sometimes I'll run like the smoke in a bottle stuff, the wind checker in here, but depending upon the size and activity, size of the bottle and the activity you're in, I found this can kind of want to slide its way or work its way out, and the last thing I want to do is drop that without knowing, and then not have it available when I truly need it. Just like on the Kodiak Cub, it has a zippered mesh pocket back here on the inside or the back side of the pack, so this is what rides against your body. Understandably, this rear mesh pocket is larger on this version than it is on the Kodiak Cub, just because the pack is physically larger overall. On mine, I'm running a Kuiu laser rangefinder pouch on the side, which I found to be, I know that there's a bunch of different ones out there. This is just the one that I happened to pick up, and it's been super handy. I really like it. It uses the same sort of bungee and metal clasp or hook style of open and closure, and then my rangefinder sits in there, and it came with a tethered elastic tether cord here so that I don't drop it, kind of dummy cord the whole thing to myself. Now, one of the reasons why I went to the larger pack over this one, because quite honestly I really like the size of the smaller one. I like the fact that it's less obtrusive. It sits cleanly against my body. It doesn't stick out, doesn't get in my peripheral vision very often, so it's non-distracting. The problem became, though, when I went to a different pair of binoculars. So this is a Swarovski 10 by 42 EL, and like most high-end binoculars, it's rubber armored. This rubber armor is there for protection, waterproofness, and to give yourself a good secure grip on them when you're using them. And that grip is really what pushed me into the bigger pack. The reason is these binoculars fit perfectly inside the Kodiak Cub. And if you took your binoculars to the shop and we're trying to choose between these different models, you'd look at this and you'd say, oh, that fits perfectly. Then you'd walk over to the Alaska Classic and you'd stick it in there and you'd say, holy cow, that's a lot of extra space. Okay? But here's the thing that I found. I've only discovered this through actual use. When I wear these things, I like them to be tight to my body. I don't want it sagging down here. It's not a belly pack, but it shouldn't be all the way up here to my neck. So I tend to wear them maybe a little tighter than some people do, and so that it stays put right up here on my sternum, which is where I want it to be. When I tighten the straps, and then I have certain things in these different pockets, things stuffed down inside this back pocket here against the body. All of that takes up space, combined with the fact that I'm tightening the straps. It actually compresses the overall body of the pack. Now this is basic stuff. We all know this, and we can. It's easy to grasp. What I discovered though is that with these specific pair of binoculars, unlike the last pair of 10x42s I had, which weren't armored and were slightly smaller, this rubber armoring likes to grab the inside surface of the pack. That makes getting the binocular out quickly and efficiently more difficult. Getting them back in, not so much, because I'm using gravity and I'm pushing down against something, but when you're lifting a heavier object out of a lightweight pouch up like this off your body, the pouch wants to come with it. Okay, I'm sure you're following what I'm saying. So in order to alleviate that, either I wear this pack looser, the smaller one, I wear it looser on my body, which theoretically creates more space inside here because it's not being compressed. But the same problem exists when the rubber armoring grabs the inside of fabric and tries to pull it up. Now the pack moves even more because it's looser. Another option is don't put as many accessories and little doodads inside here. However, I don't know how you run your stuff, but I generally go minimal on just the things I think I'm going to really, really need, like a knife, some lens cleaning stuff, a small headlamp, maybe some diaphragm calls, wind checker, stuff like that. It's not, I don't have a ton of stuff in here, but it's enough to take up space and create a more constrictive interior environment for this binocular to sit in. So the primary reason I went to the larger Alaska Classic is so that when I put this binocular in here and try to take it out, there's enough wiggle room around it to allow it to slip in and out of the pack without any kind of binding, even if I'm wearing it kind of tight or snugly around my body or whatever clothing I may have underneath it. So that's the reason. I like to run the neck strap that came with the binocular, as opposed to what Jarrett puts in the pack and sells with it. These come with each one of these packs. This is just a binocular lanyard system that threads into the shoulder strap buckles and then hangs independently of the buckle itself and straps straight to the sides of the binocular. This is a great system. I like this a lot. I really like the fact that you can unclip the binocular from the harness and use it separately, which to me is important, because if I'm just glassing something, say out of camp, and I don't have this on because I'm making dinner and now I want to go see something, I don't have to take the pack, put it on, or carry it with me in order to use the binocular. And I also like the fact that if I'm with a buddy or with my son or whomever, and I want him to take a look at something through my binoculars, I can just hand them to him without having to give him a hug like this while he's looking through the damn binoculars. So this is an option, and it will depend upon also whether or not your binocular supports this type of a strap where it loops through a ring on the body of the binocular and then threads back through these buckles. The ELs don't do that. They have a proprietary sort of neck strap attachment system, which is ingenious, and I have zero issues with it at all. But if that's not what you preferred and you wanted to do this, I would have to investigate to see if there is an accessory maybe that goes on here that allows you to just run a strap like this as opposed to the Swarovski strap. Anyhow, so the binocular strap comes with every one of these packs. Another thing that I really like that they've started doing, which they didn't do with the Kodiak Cub, at least initially, is all the buckles that come with these, all these side release buckles. There's two on the front, top front, and then one on each side, and this is what goes around the back side of your body. All of these side release buckles are, what do you call them? The non-slip auto lockers. Holy cow. Okay, so these are all auto locking buckles, which means that there's a cam in here where the strap goes through there that prevents it from loosening. You can tighten it. It's a one-way cam. You can tighten it up, but in order to loosen it, you have to physically depress the little toggling cam here in the buckle to run webbing back out of it to make it looser. This is really important to me because the last thing I want to happen is my own movement, a fall, some sort of circumstance that would put tension on this system. I don't want it loosening up and then causing something to break or my situation to get worse. I've been in the woods before with the Kodiak Cub, the smaller one here, prior to having the auto lockers on here, where just walking around for a day has created excess space up here. These things have loosened up. This thing starts to sag further and further down my body. It's just a real distraction. It's a pain in the ass. And so this one has been upgraded with an auto locking buckle upgrade kit, which Alaska Guide Creations sells. So I upgraded the Kodiak Cub with that. Fortunately, the Alaska Classic, the new ones nowadays, they all come pre-threaded, pre-equipped with an auto-locking buckle system. So super good choice on their part from them, and I can only imagine that came about due to customer feedback and or requests or sales of the upgrade kits for the older ones. So I'm super happy to see that included in it and not have to spend the extra however many dollars just to make sure the damn thing stays on my body. Anyhow, let me put this on real quick. So generally I keep 3 out of the 4 buckles together, buckled up, and then I'll just kind of swim through this thing like I'm putting on a shirt maybe. I'll get that back buckle to drop down by my side, and then I just pull it around the front and buckle it right here. So this right here is exactly how I intend to wear it this season. And there you go. So in this one side pouch here, I have a little adapter for my phone that allows me to photograph and take video through the binocular. Petzl E-light, because I think that's important. Again, that smoke in a bottle stuff. And then up here, I'll keep my diaphragm calls and whatever else in an old dip can. I'll stick those in there. Down here, I was thinking I've gone to a handheld release this year. This isn't the exact one, but I'm going to one very similar to this. I was thinking I'll just put that down in this bottom pouch here. It keeps it out of a pocket so that if I'm kneeling or sitting or whatever and I can't get into that pocket easily, this saves me all that motion and hassle of getting it out. So I'll go to the release down here, and then generally in this back pocket here against my body, I'll keep my license and like a Taito knife, which I have right here. A Taito knife will go in there. A lens brush, small lens brush for the optics of the binocular. This is a lens cloth. And then usually I don't have my glasses with me right now, but I'll usually run my reading glasses like up underneath this larger, there's two elastic pieces on the top. I'll run it up under the larger one to keep it fully contained and out of the way, but easy to quickly access to put on if I need to. That works a hell of a lot better than hanging it off my shirt, which is how I generally do it back here at home. But anyhow, so the Alaska Guide Creations Alaska Classic with Max Pocket is this model right here. This, for size comparison, this is the Kodiak Cub. Okay, I don't know if this is going to work on video, but there's the Kodiak Cub for size comparison. It's not as deep, and it's slightly narrower, and it's certainly slightly shorter on the bottom, top to bottom. They make a very, very simple version called the Kiss, right? Keep it simple, stupid. Where that pack is very similar to the Kodiak Cub, but it has no pockets on the outside, on the sides here. I think it still has the elastic on top, but that's about it. And the pocket on the front. And then they make another one, I think it's super large. I want to say it's called the Denali, maybe? Denali Classic, whatever it is. That one is really big. That one is, you can fit a pair of 15s in there. Maybe some of those new, what are they, the Vortex 18s. You can fit a very large, high-powered pair of binoculars in that, if that's what you're into. I believe this would easily fit Swarovski 12s and definitely a range-finding binocular, which tends to be a little bit larger. Any of those models I think would fit very well, but this is the 10 by 42 that fits in there and slides in and out without any problem, and I've got extra space on the sides. You know, what I may even do is run an ultralight nylon wind shell or rain shell in the bottom of this, just to have that super light protective layer that I can throw on there right here on my chest. So if I happen to drop my pack, now I have pretty much enough to maybe survive for a little while, right? Wind and rain protection, light, a knife, maybe a fire starter of some kind, maybe some water treatment, I don't know, whatever you want to put in it. I prefer to keep this as light as possible up here on my chest, without sacrificing something like absolute essentials. But anyhow, if you haven't checked them out, please do. I get nothing for this. I'm doing this specifically because I am a fan of the product and I believe in it, and I've been using it for several years now, and I'm totally convinced. I tried with a Kuiu pack, Kuiu binocular chest pack. I tried modifying that to make it what I found in this, and it worked, but it didn't. There's some imperfections to that I just can't solve. But at any rate, give them a try if you're in the market, and yeah, happy hunting. We'll see you next time. Thanks.